Russ Higley, and I'm an instructor at the University of Washington Tacoma, where I teach environmental science. I'm also an instructor at Highline College, where I teach marine biology and oceanography and run their marine science and technology center. Probably one of the bigger ones. In high school, I was an honor student. I was, in this smart kid classes sort of idea. I mean, I wasn't top or anything like that, but got mostly A's without really trying. And when I went to college, I kind of used those same skills of not being totally serious about things and got myself in pretty deep trouble. Actually, almost got kicked out of school academically. I was on academic probation, and so dug my hole for about 2 years, first 2 years of college, before I kind of had that wake up moment, that aha moment, and was like, I need to change this. And then I spent my last 2 years digging myself out of the hole, but I was still in a hole because it was a deep hole. So it was, I really missed some of the opportunities that being at a college, at a university offered, because I was just kind of getting by. I was doing the minimums to get by, which meant I wasn't able to take advantage of all the faculty, all the things that are available for students to grow. So after my undergraduate, partly because of the issues that I'd done to myself, I tried to figure out, what's next. And I was a biology major, and to be honest, with biology, if you're going to stay in the sciences, you need a master's. But I didn't have the grades I needed to go on to graduate school and so forth. And so it was also just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And one of the things I wanted to do was travel, and to be honest, help others. And so I joined the Peace Corps, which is a 2-year international service. It's similar to an AmeriCorps option, except AmeriCorps is 1 year in country, Peace Corps is 2 years out of country. And so I went over to a country called Namibia, which at that stage was 4 years old, brand new country. And where I served, I taught science to high school students and raised catfish at a fish farm. So, did I know? I grew up playing on the beach, so I always wanted to do something with marine biology. But that isn't a job for some reason, playing on the beach, usually for most people. And so I had to figure that out. I knew in high school, especially, I didn't like talking in front of people. I remember a Peace Corps experience where I had to give prayer to 400 students. If we were at a Catholic mission school and it was my turn to do prayer, the teachers would rotate. And that was very far outside of my comfort zone. And I remember standing up. It was actually close to Earth Day, ironically, and I did a prayer by Chief Seattle, that's the prayer to the earth, which was probably pushing limits a little bit, but I remember physically standing in front of the students and visibly my leg just shaking. I mean, visibly, like the students in the front, like looking at me, there's no hiding that I'm shaking. And now I teach college. Now I regularly stand up in front of groups. I just gave a presentation to 50 people the other day.
Wow.
And it's one of those that you can let your fears rule, or you can kind of, I'm going to attack it head on and get by it. And obviously, I think at least in that sense, I've done a pretty good job. So one of the things I did, I got a master's degree in education. Did that. Was that the end-all be-all? No. And to be honest, I got it partly because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I know from Peace Corps that I liked teaching. And so I'm like, let me add some options. So, and then I went back and got another master's in oceanography, marine, or policy at least. So just to be a glutton. It'll sound cheesy, but it is the students. It's having you know, conversations. You and I've had a couple conversations, sort of idea. It's when they take one of the thoughts and they start applying it. In that way, I think I'm fortunate. You know, teaching like this class is where we're looking at our footprint. It's relevant to our life, and so it's not some esoteric thing that you can't relate your normal life to. I mean, we're talking about our choices, our, you know, footprint, you know, the carbon footprint, water footprint, all those things. And so it's more real to students. And so, you know, I've had students come back and they're like, you know, that just, it kind of changed the way I look at the way that I look at things. And that's what, you know, I want. Is in 10 years, my success is you saying, you know, 10 years later, you're like, you know what, I was about to do something, and I remember that thing that Russ said, and it made me stop and think. Which way you went with your answer, to be honest, I don't care. You stopped and thought, because of that little kernel of thought. That's cool. Life is about learning, and I've learned and I've moved forward, sort of idea. So in that sense, no. Saying that, you know, I wish I had taken better advantage of some of those things. No, I don't know that you know, again, I don't regret, maybe is a good way to put it. Again, would I change some things? Sure. I don't think college is for everyone, and I definitely don't think it's for everyone right after high school, sort of idea. You know what, how old are you, Justin?
19.
19. So, and you are a freshman in college, which means if you do a 4-year degree, you're 23, right? Just beginning of your life, you're still a young adult at that stage. If you took 1 year off, if you took 5 years off, you'd still be in your mid-20s by the time you finish your bachelor's degree. The reality is, my wife got her bachelor's degree when she was 35. You know, we're so, we gotta get it done, we gotta get it done, we gotta get it done. And you know, how many people end up with bachelor's degrees that don't do anything, or they don't like their degree, and you know, take the time to go, maybe that's travel the world, maybe that's go volunteer at a food bank. I mean, we're so, gotta go to school, gotta go to school, gotta go to school sort of mentality, and that's what we tell everybody to go to college nowadays. Again, that works for some people. You know, the stereotypical white male to go to be a scientist sort of idea. And you know, and so, but the reality is, you know, if I had the awareness of an option after high school, because it wasn't an option, at least in my, would going and working for a year, you know, even if I was working for McDonald's sort of idea, you learn your priorities sort of, you know, whereas in college, it's kind of, you're insulated from the real world. You're still, you know, maybe you're working and maybe you're paying for your college. I mean, mom helped some sort of idea, but that's, you're still insulated. You live in, you know, I mean, I lived in the dorms. I ate college food sort of idea. I worked throughout college, you know, but it's, you know, how would it have been different, you know? Right. I don't know. And again, it goes back to, you take a year off, okay, now you're 24 when you graduate. You know, you got 60 years of working still in front of you, you know. A year is so, I'm even like, don't worry about 4 years. Do it in 5 years, sort of idea. If you want to take that underwater basket weaving, take it, sort of idea. Right. People get so, now I realize financial aid has some issues, and I realize money has some issues in there. I'm not, this isn't, you know, the panacea, but it's take that extra class, and you know, just to see, because you know how most of in high school, most of us don't take sociology classes. Most of us don't take underwater basket weaving. You know, Tacoma, you can go take a glass blowing class. How cool is that?
That's super cool.
You know, and is that going to be a career? For most people, probably not, sort of idea. But it's still cool, and you've added to your resume. You've opened your eyes. I mean, hopefully my class has opened your eyes in ways that maybe you hadn't thought about. Imagine what another class could do in something that you hadn't even thought of. The biggest thing is get to know your faculty. Because the more I know you, the more I can be a resource for you. And that doesn't mean you're going to get a job because you know me. That's not at all what I'm saying. It's, hey, Justin, did you know about this program? Or hey, did you know about this internship opportunity? Or did you know about this job? Or did you know about this class? And it's, I am connected pretty well in kind of my marine biology, environmental science field. So I probably know about more opportunities than you do. So if I know what you're looking for, I can help you in that way in finding those things. You still have to get the job, you still have to get the internship. I mean, it's not, you're not getting it because of me. You're finding out about it because of me. And that's, I didn't have that. I didn't do that in my undergrad. And so, you know, I missed some opportunities. So, you know, that's, and in a lot of these, in environmental science as well, you're not going to get a job that at least pays more than basic money with a bachelor's degree. Probably. Unless you get skills, develop some skills. I drove forklift one summer in college. I made reasonable money and I was doing it to pay for college. I wish I'd made less money and done something that was actually relevant to my field. So.
Well, I want to thank you for your time as you sat down for the interview today.
Pleasure, thank you.
And that's it. That concludes the video.
Okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure.